Wenn jetzt Sommer wäre, dann wäre ich hinterher. Mir ein Shirt anzuziehen und dann ab ans Meer. Und der Winter hier läge hinter mir. Ich hätte ein Eis auf der Zunge und würde nicht mehr frieren. This was Kohlmann with When It's Summer Where, a nice summer song from a German artist, an old one so you can guess my age, but it's still a nice one to sing along with. Again, When It's Summer Where, if it would be summer now, by Kohlmann, Pohlmann. Alright, welcome to another episode here for Servus, Kraut in Germany for non-Germans, and as you can guess from the intro, it's all about summertime in Germany. And you might wonder like what to do in the summer. So I'm going to let you know a few places that you might want to visit in the summer. But before we go there, also just a few words on how does summer work. This is summer hot. Yes, it's hot right now, as everywhere in Europe. It's just really, really, really hot. We're not as crazy as in the UK where people go like, oh my god, we're all gonna die just because there are like 2 days of 40 degrees Celsius. It's hot. And if you're in one of the endangered groups, of course, please take care. So I'm not making light of that. But people aren't freaking out as much. Okay. So it can get hot, like 40-degree-ish, but that's really an outlier. Usually, if it's really a hot summer day, it's 30-degree-ish or something. Few days of 30 plus, but then that's about it. Okay, but the summer is really nice. It's hot to get a tan and so on. So it's not like it's always dark and gray like this. It's quite nice, blue skies and so on. It's quite nice, of course, as the weather works. So in the mornings, of course, it gets hot. So if you go out in the morning wearing like shorts and t-shirts, it feels like really nice because maybe still get some air, some fresh air, some wind and so on. So it's just an overall very, very, very nice feeling in the summer. Okay, then, of course, there's summer holidays for schools, usually, unless you have to go to summer school, then I'm sorry for you. Usually, of course, summer holidays, so people go on holidays, people leave Germany, they fly somewhere, they go to Spain, Turkey, whatever, anywhere, which is always a little bit interesting to me because I would be like, well, this is the nicest time in Germany. I'm going to stay right now and then I'm going to leave once it's getting colder, but that is just me. Okay, so summer holidays, that's the only time that the parents are maybe free from work because they took holidays and kids have school holidays. Okay, cool. Then when it comes to the media landscape, which, as you might know, I'm part of, I find it very interesting because during the summer, everybody takes a break. It's like we're all on summer break now. Like even all the German podcasts, the famous ones, they're all on summer break now. It's like, don't you think people want to listen to stuff in the summer as well? Say, no, it's a summer break, so let's just stop with everything. So the famous podcasts don't produce right now. Then the news, like there's something they call it the summer hole, in German Sommerloch. It's like we have nothing to report about. So we report about random stuff like the heat wave in the UK. The Earth doesn't stand still just because there are summer holidays in Europe. I just want to say that, like, they always act like it's the case, but it's just because maybe in Germany people are on holidays for a while, doesn't mean that the rest of the world stops. Just saying, Germany, just saying. I guess it's in other countries the same, right? But just because you're on summer holidays doesn't mean that, for example, we over here in Thailand stop doing our thing and so on. So there is enough to report about. Just saying. But okay, so usually again there's the summer hole, the Sommerloch. Also because again they don't report on stuff because not much happens during summer holidays in Germany. Media productions, not just podcasts, but TV shows, live shows, and whatnot. They are producing, so you see lots of like repeats, rebroadcasts. Like it's quite boring actually. And so that's usually in the media landscape. Now, in regards to where to go if you're in Germany, like I said again, lots of Germans leave Germany for summer holidays. That's the one time I can go with your family probably. But That doesn't mean that Germany doesn't have really nice places to go. Actually, like when I go back to Germany, I usually go during spring or summer. Otherwise, I'm just freezing to death. Like last time I went was in May before COVID, and even in May I was freezing like crazy because I'm not used to it anymore. So I do go in the spring or late spring or the summer. And it's beautiful. So I also never really appreciated it while I was living in Germany, but now I do appreciate it much, much more. And so without further ado, let me give you a few places that you might want to check out. I have a few of the common places that you might be familiar with, and I have a few hopefully secrets for you that you might not have thought. So one place on all the lists that you can find out there is probably Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, which is like a province in Germany, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. And this is quite famous for one of its highlights, which is Stralsund, which is a famous town for being like very idyllic. Like it's northern Germany, and it's got like this I don't want to say fisherman, but like this. It's everything is like close to water, so it has like this very special water close to water vibe, which I think. So it's really nice. And you can do lots of trips. For example, you could even go there from Berlin. So if you say I want to have some crazy time in Berlin, while it's not, I mentioned many times, it's not like architecturally the most pretty city we have in Germany, but it's like very much culture. So I do suggest if you go on a holiday to Germany, go to Berlin for a few days because it's just cool. Like I think it's the only city we have that's really cool. Like I love being in Berlin. But after a while, you're like, okay, it's enough city life. I want to see more. And Berlin has lots of things to offer. Also, like next to the river, there's like beach bars and like hidden bars at like at the riverside, like next to the trees and forests and stuff. So it's really cool. Events and whatnot. So it's really cool too. But you can also do a tour from Berlin to Stralsund within a day, for example, which is no problem at all, right? So you could even cycle there if you would want to. So it's really cool. Then I'll just go all over Germany just in the way that it pops to my head, right? So then I also want to talk about a few places, of course, where I'm from, because I'm from Bavaria, right? So one of the famous areas there, of course, is the Bodensee, and you probably know Lake Constance if you're familiar with German travel, tourism, and so on. So Lake Constance or Bodensee, it's a big lake, as the name suggests, and it's really pretty. So when I was young, I never appreciated it, but the last time I was there, I was like, oh, but it's really pretty, like clear water. It's like it sees tourists, like of course from Germany or Austria is closed, Switzerland is closed. So you can see people from all over this area coming there and just chilling at Lake Constance. The boat, they can do like boat rides, canoe rides, whatever. There's an island out there, Minot Island. It's fantastic. Like the butterfly garden is famous. There's something for an old person, but it looks really pretty. So when you're there, you're like, oh, that's so pretty. So it's not just for old people, even though getting older, but I do appreciate it too because it looks pretty, like vineyards and whatnot. The architecture is cool, and if you've done like a lot of city hopping before, then you're gonna be like, oh, that's so nice, it's so pretty. So it's really something to appreciate, in my opinion. So Bodensee, Lake Constance is really cool. Now, like one of those tips that I mentioned earlier, right? So I think I hope you don't see too many lists. But lots of my friends, because I suggested to a few of the friends who went to Germany, and I told them, but I read about St. Goa, and which is like, it's like it's a rough heritage site, but still not as famous as others, I think. At least like my German friends in Germany don't really know about it, so I figured that maybe it's a tip. But so it's in the middle of Rhine, like in the Rhine Gorge, which is quite famous. But the town is pretty small, right? So it's got a nice castle, and yeah, people do go to the castle, but I still think it's not as famous as other castles. So it's just quite pretty. You can walk up there, for example. There's a train station in St. Croix, and you can just walk from there if you would want to. So it's just a nice trip to do if you're in that area. Yeah, if you're in that area, you could of course like the along the Rhine, you can go to Düsseldorf, of course. If you listen to this podcast, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of Düsseldorf, but if you want to go to a fancy city, go to Düsseldorf. It's at least close to the water, so you can appreciate it. that's as much of a positive thing that you will see in the setup of Düsseldorf. It's clean, it's pretty, it's just fancy. I'm sorry, Düsseldorf people. I also don't like Cologne, so don't like. I'm not the biggest fan of Western Germany, so I like the West. So don't take this with a grain of salt. What is cool though, and let's go back all the way to the north. If you want some beach time, Rügen Island is pretty nice. Yeah, the seaside is cool. We do have sea and beach. I mean, people don't associate Germany with beaches, but we do have some beaches and we have the seaside, and it's usually freaking cool. Even in the summer, it's not going to be warm, but it's still nice to chill there. And so I do like it there, and if you can go to the water. I remember being in the water. So it's nice. And it's not as crowded as a beach in Spain, for example. So hey, there you go. But now that we've been all the way in the north, let's go back down to the south, because why not? Because again, just popping to my head, like, as I'm from Bavaria, and I mean, there are differences within Bavaria, so my family would be like, don't mention that, that's not what we like, but I have to say, Munich is cool. It's a cool city, like, and the funny thing is, like, I'm from a province, like, within Bavaria, like a smaller province, and they're like, not at war, but they're like, we don't like Munich usually, but I do like Munich. Munich is a pretty city. It's got like nice gardens, it's got the river as well, the big river. You can go to the English Garden, which is just huge, very extensive. It's a beer garden inside. There's just lots of brands. You can just chill, picnic, play football. Yeah, they have the Eisbach, like a small river in the English Garden where you can see people surfing, which is pretty cool, like wave riding, so to speak, which is nice. The architecture is awesome. There are lots of places to chill in Munich. So it's really, really, really nice. And if you are in Munich and you're in the south, you can also be like, okay, I want to see more. You can go to the fancy Starnberger See, Starnberg Lake, which is very, very, very pretty. There's lots of like upper class people there for holidays, but it's really pretty. It's really, really pretty. And you could also go to Neuschwanstein Castle, the Disney Castle, if you would want to, which is not that far away. Just saying. So, and lots of things to do from Munich. So Munich is really pretty, and I have to do with the stream. So you can already see where this is going, because now we've been in the south. So let's go back to the north. And in the north, one of the cities that for a long time, and I'm not sure why, for a long time I ignored it, but once I've been there, I was like, oh my god, this is really nice. It's Rostock. Rostock is really nice. It's on the Baltic coast, like in the north, and it's really it's I don't know why it has a bad rap. I mean, there have been a few instances of racism that have made it into the news, unfortunately, and I think that's why it also has a bit of a bad rap within Germany. But of course, you can't blame every citizen of Rostock for it. And Rostock itself is quite nice. Again, in the north, Baltic coast, lots of water, which is nice. Lots of beach volleyball there. There's a seaside resort called Warnemünde. There's also usually a beach volleyball event if you're into beach volleyball. So it's really nice. It's like a very, very chill place. They have a very old university there in Rostock, which is also nice to chill at. There are churches there everywhere in Germany, but they're also quite nice to look at. So Rostock, if you're in the north, is a really nice place. And one of the things I mentioned before very frequently on my podcast, because it doesn't get the love it deserves, in my opinion, is Dresden. And so Dresden is ridiculously pretty. It also gets some bad rap because it's in Eastern Germany, and there are also some issues with like some of those political parties and so on. We're not going to talk about politics this time. So just from a tourism point of view, it's really pretty. The church is pretty. The architecture of the houses, the bridges, sitting by the river, it's all just so ridiculously pretty there. If I would have to go back to Germany to live somewhere in Germany, like Dresden and Leipzig, would be on the top of my list somewhere. Like, I mean, the top 5, to be honest. So it's really nice. While I was preparing for this podcast, I was also looking through what other lists are saying, right? So I don't only rely on like what I think. And I saw a few lists suggesting Frankfurt. Now, my hometown is like less than 2 hours away from Frankfurt, maybe like 90 minutes or so. So I've been there 1,000 times, and I don't think it's that pretty. But every list that I found had Frankfurt. So maybe Frankfurt is nice. If you are arriving by plane in Frankfurt Airport, anyways, you're like, oh, maybe I have to stay 1 or 2 days here. I think you can make it work, but I'd rather go to my hometown. Go by train. Takes you an hour to take the, or less than an hour to take the ICE train, the ICE train, the high-speed train. It's gonna be there super quick. Go to Würzburg. Würzburg is much more Frankfurt. Other than that, let's finish with a few things in the north, and then I'll finish with a few things in the south. Lübeck in the north is still also very nice. It's got like a very colorful, like, it's famous for like those colorful house facades next to the river, which is nice. Hamburg itself, also in the north, is also quite nice. I get bored after a few days there, but for a few days, like two days in Hamburg, it's really nice. It's quite pretty. Lots of water as well, of course. I love walking around the harbor area, which is really nice. Just chill by the water. As you can see, I'm a big fan of water, so Hamburg is really, really nice. One thing I also mentioned in the last several podcasts, was that romantic road in southern Germany that leads you from like one side to another side. So that's also one thing. It's of course making more sense during the summer. You will go to Rotenburg, for example. I said last time it's nice, but like if you're German, like I've seen similar things where I grew up probably, and of course my village looks the same. But it's very nice, of course. And like I said, if you go to Rotenburg, you can also go to Würzburg, my hometown, which is, and I'm totally unbiased now, ridiculously pretty. Like Würzburg, ever since I moved away, I'm like, damn, I grew up in a really pretty town. Like there's a castle on the hill. Hey, Ed Sheeran. The castle on the hill, we have like a UNESCO World Heritage like palace kind of thing in the middle of the city with like a huge garden to it, which is nice. Yeah, I know every city in Germany has that. And we have a nice river, the river Main, not Rhine, it's called Main, M-A-I-N, the main river, where you can chill next to. There, like also beach bars or like just like bicycle lanes. You can bike alongside the Main river forever to like lots of villages. Through the trees, the forest and stuff, and people picnicking there. It's really, 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 really nice. Really nice. I can't say enough of like how nice my hometown is. A few last things that I want to mention. What was it? Let me see what I wrote down. Oh yeah, of course, Sylt. I didn't mention Sylt. Sylt is like an island in the very north. And it's famous for being, well, an island in the very north. It's famous for being quite expensive and, well, also expensive to get there because it's in the very north. Now it's quite cheap these days because there are some special train prices right now. It's like a train ticket scheme in Germany right now, which makes it cheaper to go by not high-speed trains, like those normal slower trains. But if you don't mind the time, then you can go there quite cheaply still by now. Yeah, you have the beach, you have the sea, it's quite windy, but it's nice. It's not, if you don't mind this upper class flair that's always surrounding. So it's like old people go there to spend money. That's the thing. But if you don't mind that, like the nature and everything, it is quite nice to chill. So that's what I suggest, and what you could be doing when you're going to Germany in the summer. Again, if you go to Würzburg, because it's pretty epic. So now we've finished with the north, let's finish with the south. The last thing I want to mention in the south, besides my home in Würzburg, and no, I don't get anything from the city. is, of course, Zugspitze, the mountain. While I love the water and the sea and everything, I also love the mountain. And the Zugspitze is the highest mountain. Yeah, and it's also one thing I didn't appreciate while I was living in Germany. But once I left, then I came back, and then I went there for the first time after moving out from Germany. I was like, oh my god, the air is ridiculously clean. It's so clean. Like when you breathe, you're like, that's how air is supposed to feel. It's just so clean. It's amazing. And of course, you get like, if you can, maybe sunsets, sunrises, and so on. If you go there during the early summer, late spring, you might even see you definitely see some snow still. And then also like everything around the Zugspitze, around the Alps in particular, is just very, very pretty. The nature is just amazing. There are lakes if you then go down, and you can hike everywhere. It's just really, really nice. So, I would suggest this. So, we finished with the north, we finished with the south. So, do enjoy that. It's really, really great. Okay, that's enough of the summer podcast here. The German summer podcast. I think next time around we will talk more serious business again, because we don't have the summer look here on the podcast. We talk serious stuff, but I hope for now you might enjoy your summer holidays. We'll be back next week with another episode of Servus, Kraut, Germany for non-Germans. Until then, take care, stay safe.